It's a very rewarding career, I can tell you that for sure.
I met two people actually here, young lady and another guy that says they're making, up to $2,000 a month online.
Hi everybody and welcome back to How to Expat. My name is Tasha and I'm an expat here in Colombia. So today's video is gonna be about how to teach English in Colombia. So teaching English in Colombia is one of the best ways to make money. And it's perfect for people that want to make that full-time or as a part-time job, or even for retirees that like to teach, or former teachers, for example, and they don't have, they have a lot of spare time, for example, and they just want to teach English to kids in China or wherever in the world. And so yeah, this is really a great option for people coming to Colombia, and it's also an easy way to get a job. So the thing is that you have two options. So you can teach online or you can teach in a school actually. So today we're gonna talk about online teaching. So as Sam and I, we never taught online, neither did we teach in a school. So we ask expats in Colombia that have their long-term expats and they were teaching from Colombia online. So we asked them a few questions and you're gonna see them just now.
When I came here, I was looking for a way to supplement my income, get an extra couple of thousand, $1,000 or so a month to, help pay expenses and so forth. And I knew some friends who said they taught online, they were making good money. I met two people actually here, young lady and another guy that says they were making, up to $2,000 a month online, And they told me name of some companies, sent me this link with about 10 companies in it. So I just chose one or two and got going,
Okay, so I like Facebook just like a lot of people do, and I actually have more time to spend on Facebook now than I used to. So that's where I first came across teaching English online to Chinese kids, was on a Facebook group. The company that I work for is Dada ABC, but there's several different companies out there where you can teach Chinese children English. There's probably 8 to 10 different companies. So you just have to pick the one that suits your needs best and go with it. It's a great job though, I enjoy it.
One big requirement for most of these companies is that you be from the US or Canada, gotta get that certain accent. Even if you speak English well from another country, from Colombia, they won't take you, okay? Probably has to do the accent. Another requirement is a lot of them want you to have that, I think it's called a TEFL certificate, which you can get. I did mine in 3 months. Actually less than that, If you're gonna go at it, if you're pretty good in English, you can just sit down every day and do a couple of chapters, you can knock it out and get a certificate. I think it's 20 hours and 140 hours, something like that. So they want that. And most of them will want you to have some experience teaching. Not all of them, And it could be anything. It could be a tutor, helping teachers out. It's not a strict requirement for all of them.
To get a teaching job through Dada ABC, number one, a bachelor's degree was required. And second of all, they strongly encouraged either a TESL or a TEFL certificate, which I did not have a year ago, but I have since achieved getting that TESL certification. So for sure they do require a bachelor's, and they strongly consider a TESL certificate.
Oh, okay. Most of the students, either in China, I think it was Vietnam. Most of them are Taiwan and China. And the ages were pretty young. They started pretty young, which is over there. I would say as young as 5, 6, some of them really, they struggle to learn, but I guess if you start young, that's good too. And the oldest one I probably had was about 14. And he spoke great English at 14. It was actually kind of bored on the lessons, but 5, 6, 7-year-old, that kind of age rate.
Okay, all of my students that I teach are in China, whether it's in Beijing or Hong Kong or one of the outlying cities. The age groups run from age 4 all the way up to 16. In the past year, I've taught 142 students in total, and I have 16 regular students. In terms of an average age, I'm going to say probably 7 or 8 would be the average, but I do have 2 4-year-olds and 2 16-year-olds as well.
Some pros and cons of teaching from Colombia. I had one con. I had one company, when the first company I worked with, that wanted you, they give you a higher base salary if you lived or registered from the U.S. or Canada. They think if you lived in a third world country, or I hate to say developing country, it's a better word, like Philippines and so forth, they give you a lower base pay. It doesn't make any sense, but that's their logic. It costs you less to live here, so they pay you less. They do want you to, one good thing about Colombia, they have great internet, great speed. And they can have 20 gigs and they can have up to 50. But they want you to have a direct feed, not Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is unreliable. It can go out sometimes with the weather or whatever. So they want you to do that. But Colombia has great Wi-Fi, not an issue at all. So I mean, like I said, the cost of living is cheaper here too. So if you want to, if you're retiring here, you want some way to make some extra bucks every month, $1,000 or so, $1,500 a month. You have a lower cost of living. You can actually pay for your entire expenses by teaching online. Obviously, you couldn't do that in the States. You couldn't live anywhere in the States, a decent place on $1,500 a month. But it's possible to live here just by teaching online. Making $1,500, $2,000 a month.
One of the biggest cons, I'll start with the cons first. And one of the biggest cons, if you're not a morning person, this job is not for you, because I teach, all my students are Chinese, and I start at 5 a.m. my time, which is 6 p.m. their time, and I teach for that 3-hour block from 5 a.m. to 8:10 a.m. Monday through Friday. So definitely, if you're not a morning person, that would be a big con. A second con that I can definitely tell you about is operating with a Chinese contract. It's all written in English where I can understand and read through it. However, all the terms and conditions in the contract are always written in their favor, none of them in my favor. Those are the 2 biggest cons I can think of. For pros, number 1, the pay is good. I'm not going to say what my pay rate is, or it might get me in trouble, but the range is all the way from $14 an hour up to $25 an hour, depending on your experience and your qualifications. Another big pro for me is that I'm a morning person, so I like getting up in the morning. So I teach that 3-hour block of time, and then I have the rest of my day to do with whatever I want to do. So I really enjoy that. I think that was 2 pros, 2 cons. I think that's all I got.
No, it's a great way to make some money. If you look at my channel, I had about one bad experience with one company because I registered from Colombia and it gave me a low base rate for some of these classes. But you can get over that with a VPN. Let them think you're in the States when you register. So I recommend that. Use a VPN in case you run into the same situation. It's not always the case. Other companies, it's not an issue, I was told. But I mean, like I said, if you want to retire, live somewhere really inexpensive, it's a good way to make some money and actually pay for most of your expenses to teach online. I mean, I get up early in the morning. It's a change though. You have to get up early in the morning because of the 12-hour time difference. You have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start teaching maybe 6:30, 6, 7, So that's a big difference. You have to get used to getting up early in the morning and teach. But if you can do that and go back to sleep at 9 o'clock, if you're retired, great way to make some money.
Anybody that's considering teaching English, whether it be to Chinese kids or children in some other country, it's a very rewarding career, I can tell you that for sure. I've been a manager of adults for the better part of 30 years. So working with adults versus children ranging from 4 to 16 is very different, but it's a very rewarding experience. And you can actually see the fruits of your labor teaching the children and seeing their progress. So it's very rewarding. I enjoy it.
Thanks again to Carlton and Kent for answering all our questions about online teaching. So as you could hear, it's a lot of fun. It's a flexible job, so it's not a typical 9 to 5 job, but also you have to wake up early. And if you like to do that, I think it's a great way to start a job in Colombia, because it's easy to start and it doesn't need a lot. You just need a computer and you need stable internet, and that's pretty much it. And you're set up to start your first English lesson. So we're thinking about interviewing somebody that is actually teaching here English in a school for kids, no, for elderly people. Like it's mixed, but it's more like elderly people, middle-aged people. So we're trying to get an interview with that person too. And so stay tuned for that. And don't forget that we have a great site where you can find a lot of information about the life in Medellin and in Colombia in general. So check it out now.